Hi everyone, this is Julia Faith, working as an assistant professor in IT department from SA Engineering College. Today we are going to discuss about the topic called congestion control, which is in transport layer. So first we'll discuss about what is transport layer and then we'll move on to congestion control. Transport layer is present in layer 4 of the ISO OSI model. The main work of transport layer is to control the network traffic so that it will guarantee the full data flow service. This one will provide data volume, destination, and it will control the data rate. So for this we are using certain protocols like TCP, UDP, DCCP and SCTP. The main role of this transport layer protocol is to provide a communication service directly for the full application host. The transport layer provides a logical connection also between different applications where the system will be running on a different host. Next one is the transport layer provides protocol. Those are implemented in the end system but they are not on the routers. Next one is a computer network provides more than one protocol to the network application. Here for example, TCP and UDP are two transport layer protocols that provide a different set of services to the network layer. Here, all the network layer protocols provide multiplexing and demultiplexing service, and also it will provide a reliable data transfer, bandwidth guarantees and delay guarantees. Next one is here, this type of transport layer will provide communication, and those communication will be in a process of two-way communication. So it's called as a two-way process communication. So this is the systematic diagram for a two-way process communication for all the layers in ISO OSI protocol. The layer is called application layer, shortly it is called as AP, and the middle layer is called as the transport layer, shortly it is called as TCP. Transport layer has two types of protocols, one is TCP and another one is UDP. Next one is internet layer, and this internet layer will have a protocol called IP protocol. All these protocols are communicated in a two-way process manner. That's why I have given here as communication takes place in a two-way manner or two-way direction. This is the diagram. The services provided by the TCP or transport layer is end-to-end service, addressing, reliable delivery, flow control and multiplexing. These are the 5 services provided by the transport layer. So these are the services of transport layer. First one is end-to-end delivery, addressing, reliable delivery, flow control and multiplexing. Now we'll move on to congestion. We'll see what is congestion and how it can be avoided, and we'll see the policies of congestion. First thing is we should know what is congestion and where the congestion will occur. Congestion will mostly takes place in the network. When a congestion has been occurred, then there won't be smoothly flow of data. So here, when too much of data is being sent into the network at the same time, at that time the network may be the network will get slowed down. Next is just like a traffic congestion on a busy road, network congestion leads to delays and sometimes data loss. So this one is similar to the road traffic situation. Whenever a traffic occurs, the vehicles can't able to move in a proper manner. So likewise here also, whenever traffic has been occurred in the network, at that time the data will get passed from one location to other location in a slow manner. Whenever the network can't handle all the data at that same time, it gets clogged at the network, making the process very difficult to transfer from one place to another place. Next is congestion control. Here, congestion control is It refers to a method which is used to prevent network overload and it ensures smooth data flow. So whenever we are controlling the congestion, at that time the network gets not overloaded and it ensures a smooth data flow. Next one is when too much of data is sent through the network at once, it can cause delays and data loss. Whenever we have not controlled the congestion, at that time it may cause to delays and data losses. Congestion control techniques helps to manage the traffic so that all the users can enjoy a stable and efficient network transmission. Next one is these techniques are essential for maintaining the performance and reliability of the modern network. These are the effects in congestion control. The first effect is called as improved network stability. Whenever we are using congestion control, the overloading process gets controlled. So this type of congestion control helps the user to avoiding or to prevent the process of overloading. So it will avoid the overloading process. By this way we are improving the network stability. Second one is reduced latency and packet loss. Without the congestion control process, the data transmission will get slowed down. When it gets slowed down, there may be a delay and data loss. Second effect is enhanced throughput. So when we use congestion control will avoid congestion so that the network can use its resource in an efficient manner. Next one is fairness in resource allocation. So here congestion control ensures the network resources that are shared fairly among the users. So when we use congestion control, the resources will get shared among the users in a fair manner. So better experiences when data flows smoothly and quickly, user can have a better experience. TCP congestion control. We'll see how TCP helps to control the congestion in the transport layer. TCP is an end-to-end protocol that uses services of IP. Here, TCP cannot ignore the congestion in the network. Next, we'll see what is congestion window. Here, the size of the sender window is controlled by the receiver. The actual window size will be given as minimum of receiver window and congestion window. Receiver window can be indicated as RWND and congestion window can be indicated as CWND. These are the policies used in congestion control. The first policy is called slow start. Shortly it is called as SS. The second policy is called as congestion avoidance and the third policy is called as congestion detection. So all these things are used in this TCP for avoiding the congestion. These are the phases of or policies of congestion control. First one is slow start, second one is congestion avoidance and third one is congestion detection. We'll see one by one. The first one is called as slow start process. In this slow start process, the congestion window will have a size and that size will be indicated as CWND, means congestion window size. Here always the congestion window will start with one maximum segment size that is shortly called as MSS. So the start of the window size will be always 1 MSS, but it increases 1 MSS each time whenever an acknowledgement arrives. So whenever the acknowledgement arrives, the congestion window size will get increased by or it gets doubled. So the sender starts with CWND, congestion window equal to 1. If an acknowledgement arrives for this data, then the congestion window size will get incremented to 1 value. So that is CWND plus 1. Here there must be a threshold to stop the slow start phase. So to stop this policy, we have to use the threshold value and that threshold value is used to stop the slow start phase. Here the size of the congestion window will increases exponentially until it reaches the threshold value. So until it reaches the threshold value, the size of the congestion window will get doubled. For example, if the first segment is sent as 1 MSS means, then when it receives an acknowledgement, the second transmission will have 2 MSS of data. Whenever the 2 MSS of data is received by the receiver will transfer the acknowledgement. After getting the acknowledgement, during the third transmission, the sender can double the window size, means they can double the data as from 2 to 4, and they can transfer the data to the receiver. So that process is given here. So the size of the congestion window increases exponentially until it reaches the threshold. So the slow start gets stopped and the next phase gets started over here. The next phase is called as congestion avoidance phase. Here, when the size of the congestion window reaches the slow start threshold, in the case where the congestion window value equal to I, the slow start phase stops and the additive increase phase begins. So whenever the slow start stops, we will enter into the second phase called congestion avoidance. In the congestion avoidance phase, we'll use the process called additive increase phase instead of exponential growth. So what we'll do over here is we'll add 1 value to the size, means in the congestion avoidance algorithm, the size of the congestion window will get increases additively, increased by 1 until the congestion is detected. So it has to be increased to 1 1 1, and then at last will enter into a phase called congestion. So during that congestion detection, if an acknowledgement arrives, congestion window equal to congestion window into 1 by CWND, means the formula has been taken here. Congestion window is equal to congestion window into 1 by congestion window. The third phase is called as congestion detection process. In this congestion detection process, this detection can be done, or this detection can be identified by 2 processes. One is during the timeout and another one is whenever a 3 acknowledgement has been received for a particular data. So whenever congestion detection is identified by timeout, that type of sign is always called as a strong congestion. So whenever timeout occurs, we have to start from the first phase. The first phase is called as slow start phase. Second one is if the congestion is detected by 3 acknowledgements, the new congestion avoidance phase will start. So here it will start from the slow start, whereas here it will start from the congestion avoidance phase. Next one is receiving of 3 duplicate acknowledgement is the sign of the weak congestion. The sign of the strong congestion is timeout, and the sign of the weak congestion is receiving 3 duplicate acknowledgements. This is the full summary of TCP congestion policy. We have 3 phases. One is slow start, second one is congestion avoidance, and third one is congestion detection. We'll see how this flow chart works. First phase is called as slow start phase. In this slow start phase, we have to start the congestion window with 1 MSS. When it reaches to the threshold value, the congestion window can be greater than or equal to the threshold value. Whenever it is greater than or equal to threshold value, at that we have to maintain congestion window equal to SS threshold value. Next phase starts over here. Whenever it reaches to the threshold value, it enters into the second phase. The second phase is called as congestion avoidance. In congestion avoidance, will stop the exponential growth in the slow start phase, and in the congestion avoidance will use additive inverse process, means will increment the window sizes by 1. So it gets incremented by 1 over here, and this is the second process. So whenever it reaches to the congestion avoidance, the additive inverse process will takes place here. Next one is third phase is called as congestion detection phase. In the congestion detection phase, congestion, as I already told, congestion detection will takes place in it can be takes place in 2 process. One is through timeout and another one is through pre-acknowledgement. So whenever timeout has been occurred, at that time a congestion has been detected. So when the congestion has been detected, the work of us is to do this process. The process is the threshold value should be equal to half of the congestion window. We have to update the threshold value, SS threshold value here. That SS threshold can be calculated as, that is, half of the congestion window. So half of the congestion window will now be considered as the new threshold value. So this is the flow of this TCP congestion policy. Next we'll see how the data gets transferred from the sender to the receiver. So initially during the first phase, the congestion window size will be 1 MSS. Means whenever we transfer the data from 1 MSS from the sender to the receiver, the first segment will be transferred from the sender to the receiver. Once the receiver receives the data, it will transfer the acknowledgement. So we'll receive one acknowledgement from the receiver to the sender. So when we receive the acknowledgement, we have to increase the congestion window size. As I already told, in the slow start phase, we have to do the process by doubling the values. So what I have done over here is, the congestion window size initially it was 1, now it has been doubled to 2. So now I am transferring 2 segments from the sender to the receiver. So whenever I transfer 2 segments from the sender to the receiver will receive the data and the receiver will transfer the acknowledgement from the sender to the from the receiver to the sender. So the receiver will be getting 2 acknowledgements from the receiver. So after receiving the acknowledgement, the work of the sender is to double the MSS. So the window size will get increased, or it gets doubled as 4 MSS. So we have to transfer 4 segments in the third phase, in the third segment. In the third segment, we are transferring 4 datas. Whenever the receiver receives the 4 segment of datas, the receiver has to transfer the 4 acknowledgements to the sender. So the sender will be receiving the data, means receiving the acknowledgement. Now the congestion window will get doubled from 4 to 8. So likewise this process will continue until it reaches the threshold value or it reaches the timeout. So that's it about a congestion control. Now we'll discuss the questions in congestion control. First question is, consider an instance of TCP additive increase and multiplicative decrease. Shortly it is called as AIMD algorithm, where the window size at the start of the slow start phase is 2 MSS and the threshold at the start of the first transmission is 8 MSS. Assume that the timeout occurs during 5th transmission. Which of the following is the valid congestion window size at the end of the 10th transmission? We'll see how it works. The given datas are, initially the window size has been fixed as 2 MSS. So for each segment we have to use 2 MSS, that is the congestion window size. Here the threshold value has been given. The threshold value is 8 MSS, and during the 5th transmission the timeout has been occurred, and during the 10th transmission we have to tell what is the window size at the end of the 10th transmission. The options given here are 8 MSS, 14 MSS, 7 MSS and 12 MSS. Now we'll find the answer for this one. So this is the solution for the first problem. Here initially the first phase is slow start phase. So slow start can be defined as SS. So in this SS phase, the first transmission, during the first transmission we can able to transfer 2 MSS of segment. Means they have mentioned, or they have given here as, the segment size is starting with 2 MSS. So we have started the first segment, first transmission with 1 MSS of data. Once the sender sends the data, the receiver receives it and the receiver sends the acknowledgement to the sender. the sender receives the acknowledgement. Whenever the sender receives the acknowledgement, the work of the sender in the slow start phase has to double the value. So from 2 MSS, we are doubling the value as 4 MSS. So this 4 MSS of data will get transferred from the sender to the receiver. The receiver is receiving the data and the receiver transfers the acknowledgement. After receiving the acknowledgement, during the third transmission, the sender's work has to double the process. So after doubling it, the value will become 8 MSS. 8 MSS of data will be transferred from the sender to the receiver. The receiver will be receiving this. From this, the receiver has to, here they have mentioned that in the 8 MSS, when 8 MSS of data has been received, the question given is whenever, the question has been given here as during the, it has given that the threshold value will be 8 MSS. So during this third transmission, we have reached the threshold value, SS threshold value. So whenever we reach the threshold value, we are entering into the second phase called congestion avoidance phase, that is called AI phase. So in this additive inverse, we have to increase the window size by 1 value. So we have to increment the value by 1. So the 8 MSS will get incremented by 9, and then in the fifth transmission it gets incremented as 10, and during this fifth transmission, in the question they have given us, during the fifth transmission there will be a timeout. Whenever a timeout occur, congestion has been detected. So what we have to do is, during the fifth transmission, the congestion will get detected. So whenever the congestion will get detected, we have to update the threshold value. So threshold is equal to half of the window size. The window size is 10 MSS. So half of 10 MSS is 5 MSS. Now the new threshold value has been given as 5 MSS. So whenever congestion has been detected, we have to start from the new phase. So the new phase is called as slow start phase. From the sixth transmission, we have to start with SS, means slow start process. Again, initially we have to start with 2 MSS. It gets doubled. In the seventh transmission, it is 4 MSS. In the 8th transmission, it gets 5 MSS, because in this we have reached the threshold value. The threshold value is 5 MSS. Whenever the threshold value is greater than or equal to the congestion window size, we have to equalize the congestion window as your threshold value. So here I am not doubling it, I am just equalizing with the threshold value. So 4, again I have initialized with 5 MSS. So this is the threshold value. Once the threshold value has been reached, again we have to enter into the phase called congestion avoidance phase. In congestion avoidance, we have to increment the value by 1. So after 5 I am incrementing the value as 6, and after 6 I am incrementing the value as 7. So during the 10th transmission, the congestion window size will be 7 MSS. So the option for this one is fourth one. The fourth option is 7 MSS. The answer for first question is 7 MSS. We'll see the second question. The second question is, let the size of the congestion window of a TCP connection be 32 KB. When timeout occurs, the round trip time of the connection is 100 millisecond and the maximum segment size used is 2 KB. What will be the time taken by the TCP in milliseconds to get back to 32 KB of congestion window? So here the given things are, timeout has been occurred during the 32 KB, and the round trip time of each connection is 100 MSS, 100 millisecond. The maximum segment size used is 2 KB. Now we have to find what will be the time taken by the TCP in milliseconds to get back to 32 KB of congestion window. So the timeout has been occurred at the 32 KB. So during 32 KB the timeout has been occurred. Whenever the timeout has been occurred, we have to start with the new phase. The new phase is slow start phase. During the slow start phase, the congestion window value will be 2 KB. Means for 1 MSS we have to use 2 KB value. So 2 KB will be transferred from the sender to the receiver. Once the receiver has received it, he has to send the acknowledgement. The acknowledgement has been received by the sender. Once the acknowledgement has been received, the work of the sender is to double the window size. So yeah, here 2 kb gets doubled as 4 kb, and during the next transmission it gets doubled as 8 kb, and during the next transmission it gets doubled as 16 kb. When it reaches to the 16 kb means the threshold value has been reached. Whenever the threshold value has been reached, what we have to do is we have to enter into the phase called congestion avoidance phase. So during the congestion avoidance phase, what we have to do is we have to do the additive increase process. In additive increase process, the value of each segment has been given as 2 kb. So 2 kb of value will be transferred from the sender to the receiver, that is 18 kb. In the next transmission 20 kb, in the next transmission 22 kb, then 24, then 26, then 28, then 30, and in the last transmission it has been given as 32 kb. So for each transmission the round trip time has been calculated. When we take this from step 1 to step 13, the value will be 13 into 100. So the round trip time is given here as milliseconds. So 100 milliseconds is used for one transmission. So during 13 transmission we'll use 1300 milliseconds. So that is the answer for this question. Or else you can if you want to include the first step, you can include it, or if you don't want it, means you can remove that. So your options can be with 1000, 100, 1200 or 1300. So depending upon the users or depending upon the options, you can choose all these three values as the answer for this question. Third question is, assume that SS thresh value during the start of first transmission is 16 MSS. Timeout is occurred during 8th transmission. What is the value of congestion window during 11th transmission? So these are the given things. The SS threshold is 16 MSS. Timeout is 8th transmission. Timeout has been occurred in 8th transmission. Now we have to calculate the congestion window size at the 11th transmission. It is similar to the first and the second problem. So in this one, initially they have not mentioned the window size of MSS. So we'll take it as 1 MSS during the first transmission. So the first phase is slow start phase. In the slow start phase, the first transmission will transfer 1 MSS of data. When the acknowledgement has been received by the sender, then the value will get doubled. It get doubled as 2 MSS, and then it get doubled as 4, 8 and 16. During 16 MSS, it has reached the threshold value. When it reaches to the threshold value, we have to enter into the second phase. The second phase is called as congestion avoidance phase. In the congestion avoidance phase, what we have to do is we have to do the process called additive inverse. Means we have to increment the value by 1. So the value gets incremented by 17. 16 plus 1, 17. 17 plus 1 is 18, and then 19. So during the 8th transmission, a timeout has been occurred, means the congestion has been detected. So the threshold value has to be calculated here as SS threshold is equal to 1 by 2 19 MSS. The window size will be 19 over here, means the maximum segment size will be 19 over here. So that 19 has to be divided by 2, will get the answer as 10 MSS. So this 10 MSS is the new threshold value. So whenever a timeout has been occurred, we have to start from the new phase. So the new phase is called as the slow start phase. So again, from the initial process, during the 9th transmission, the initial value 1 MSS will be transferred from the sender to the receiver. During the 10th transmission, it gets doubled, and during the 11th transmission, it gets doubled as 4 MSS. So the answer for this question is 4 MSS is the answer. So likewise, like this, you have to calculate the threshold value 1 by 2 into 19 MSS, that is equal to 10 MSS. So during the 11th transmission, the value of the congestion window size will be 4 MSS. That's it about congestion control. Thank you all for listening to this video. We'll see you in the next upcoming video. Thank you.